On my 65th birthday, my son dropped me at a nursing home. A week later, I won $2 million, changed my phone number, and removed him from my will. He didn't even put the car in park. Just until things settled down, he said, eyes fixed on the GPS, not me. They've got a nice facility, activities, a barber. You'll have your own room. It was my birthday. I'd bought a frozen pecan pie the night before, still in his trunk. I nodded. Sure. He handed me a duffel bag. Light as hell. A few clothes. My shaving kit. A worn-out paperback I hadn't finished. That was his version of moving Dad in. No hug. No eye contact. Just silence and the sound of his tires crunching gravel as he drove off. The building looked like every other nursing home I'd ever seen. Brick walls. Fake plants. Windows too small to see the sky. A bored receptionist buzzed me in like I was delivering mail. Mr. Hudson? We've been expecting you. I didn't answer. Just followed her past the smell of reheated mashed potatoes and antiseptic. The room was clean, steady, empty, except for the hum of the AC and a clock that ticked too loud. I sat on the bed and stared at the wall. Pale green. One picture frame, no picture. They call it assisted living. Felt more like getting parked. 3 days in, I asked for my phone. They said my son didn't leave it. But you can use the desk phone if you'd like. Just local numbers. Right. The next day, a plain envelope showed up on my tray at lunch. I almost tossed it. Spam, probably. But it was embossed, heavy paper, real ink. Congratulations. You've won $2,000 in the American Retiree Power Prize. Confirm your information to claim, I snorted. Scam. Except the address was out of Delaware. The number was real. Curiosity got the best of me. I called. A woman named Beth answered. Sounded calm, not scripted. You entered through a gas station receipt promo. Back in 2019. You remember? I didn't, but I let her talk. We've verified your entry. You're our selected winner. I didn't react. Just said, what do you need? Proof of ID. Routing info. Mailing address. I sent it all the same night. From the computer in the shared rec room. Nobody noticed. Old folks don't draw attention when they click quietly. 2 days later, Wells Fargo called. Confirmed deposit, $2 million. Cleared. Final. I hung up. Didn't blink. Just stared at the linoleum and thought, so this is what it feels like to not be disposable. That evening, I packed the same bag he gave me. Walked to the front desk. Doctor's appointment, I said. They didn't ask for details. Didn't even make me sign out. I stepped into a cab like a man walking out of his own funeral. Halfway down the road, I changed my phone number. By nightfall, I'd booked a suite under a fake name and called my lawyer. 2 days later, my will had one less name. My son didn't know it yet, but I was done being his burden. The motel I checked into was the kind you see in cop dramas. Buzzing neon sign, peeling paint, bed that creaked like it had secrets. $50 a night. Weekly rates if you didn't plan on leaving soon. I paid in cash. Told the guy behind the counter I was just passing through. I wasn't. I was hiding. From what exactly? That was still forming. But I knew this. I wasn't going to be Dad the burden anymore. That night, I sat at the edge of the bed, stared at the plastic curtains, and listened to the freeway outside. The lottery money sat untouched in my account. It felt radioactive. A bomb I hadn't decided where to drop. But I wasn't rushing. No one expects a man like me to make moves. That's the advantage of being written off. I raised my son alone after his mother passed. He was 12. I was working 2 jobs, fixing HVAC units by day, janitorial at the high school by night. We made it work. I bought him his first bike from a pawn shop. Cleaned it up so well he thought it was new. He never knew how many nights I went to bed without dinner. That's what fathers do. Or so I thought. I paid for his college. Took out a second mortgage to keep him out of debt. When he graduated and got that big job in tech, I was proud. Then came the calls. Hey, Dad, mind watching the kids for the weekend? It's just, Ashley and I need some space. Hey, Dad, our car's in the shop. Any chance you could help out with the lease on the new one? Just until the bonus hits. Hey, Dad, you don't mind staying in the garage room, right? It's just, the baby wakes up in the night. I said yes every time. I mowed the lawn. I repaired the water heater. I built them a sandbox from leftover planks and my own hands. Then one Christmas, I offered to pay off the rest of their mortgage. My son smiled like I'd just offered him a cookie. Oh, Dad, he said, you don't have to. But if you want to, sure. I wired the money the next day. Never saw my name on the deed. Then came the moment. You know the one. The one that changes everything. My birthday. 65 years old. Ashley said they were planning a little dinner. Just the family. I bought a nice shirt. Polished my boots. Even shaved. Haven't done that for much in years. I made a banana cream pie from scratch. My wife's recipe. Still had it in her handwriting. I showed up at their place. Knocked. No one answered. I used the key they gave me, stepped inside. Empty. A sticky note on the kitchen counter. Plans changed. We'll celebrate later. Happy B-Day, Dad. Later never came. I sat there. Ate a slice of pie alone. Took the rest back to the garage unit. That night, my son knocked on the door. Said the house was getting too tight. Said the kids needed stability. Said it was time. For what? I asked. For you to have a community, he replied. Other people your age. With structure. Medical staff. And then the words that sealed it. You'll be better off there. Like I was a dog with arthritis they couldn't bring themselves to put down, but didn't want around the house either. He had no idea. That same week, the money hit. $2,000. And I vanished. First step, I found a lawyer. A real shark. The kind of woman who didn't blink when I said, I want to disappear legally. But I also want to bite back if they come sniffing. We set up a Wyoming trust. Fake LLCs. Rewrote my will from scratch. Then I started tracking. Not stalking, studying. My son had refinanced the house a year before. Took out a line of credit. Guess whose name was still on one of the old cosigns? Mine. He used it to fund a startup. Didn't tell me. Guess what that startup did? Crypto advisory for high net worth clients. Ashley posted about it on Facebook like it was Forbes worthy. Behind the scenes, arse liens. Payroll delays. Lawsuits pending. The house, still not fully paid off. The Tesla, leased. The vacations, all credit. The perfect suburban family was a financial house of cards. I could blow on it and it'd crumble. So I blew. Just enough. Sent an anonymous tip to the IRS with a copy of the cosign documents. Then I waited. While they were spiraling, I bought a truck. Nothing flashy. Black Ford F-150, used but clean. I paid cash. I rented a 2-bedroom cabin in Montana for 3 months. Forest on one side, lake on the other. No cell service. Just the kind of silence that feels like a weapon. I chopped wood, cooked bacon in cast iron, drank coffee black as sin, and I started writing. A journal, a will, a long letter to my grandson he'll get when he's old enough to understand what his parents really are. That's when Ashley called. Blocked number. Voicemail, we're worried. You haven't checked in. We didn't mean to upset you. If you need anything, please, hon, if I needed anything. She'd made it sound like she hadn't dumped me at a government-run warehouse and kept a security deposit. I saved the voicemail, labeled it theater. Weeks passed. Then I got the email from a burner account. The subject line, we're losing everything. Are you happy? No name. No sign-off. But I recognized the tone. My son. Like it was my fault. Like I hadn't given him everything he has. The house. The education. His entire life. But now that the well was dry and the sky was falling, I was supposed to come save them? No, not this time. I forwarded the email to my lawyer. Then I had a whiskey, watched the sun die behind the mountains, and smiled. Because I wasn't coming back. I wasn't done. I was just getting started. The invitation came in the form of a group text. From Ashley. Hey, doing a small BBQ this Sunday. Family only. Would be great if you could come. Kids miss you. No punctuation. No apology. No mention of what they did. Just kids miss you like I was a grandparent-shaped balloon they forgot to tie down. I stared at the message for a long time. Then I replied with one word. Sure. I didn't ask why. Didn't ask what had changed. They thought I was the same man they dumped at the curb. They were about to learn otherwise. Sunday. After one to him, I pulled up in the F-150, freshly washed, chrome polished, quiet engine. They didn't recognize it. Good. I stepped out wearing jeans, boots, and a charcoal flannel. Clean shaven, sunglasses. I could hear music in the backyard, laughter, plastic chairs, smell of burnt hot dogs. I walked through the side gate. No knock. The second Ashley saw me, her face did that nervous twitch. The one you get when a ghost walks into your kitchen. Dad, my son said loud, fake cheerful. You made it. I said nothing. Just nodded once and handed him an envelope. He took it. Confused. What's this? Open it, I said. He did. First page. A bank statement with $2,000 transferred from a Delaware trust. My name blacked out. Second, a copy of the cease and desist sent to his crypto company by the IRS. Third, a revocation of the co-signed mortgage. Filed, executed. Final. He froze. Ashley came up behind him, holding a plastic cup. "What is this?" she asked, reading over his shoulder. I spoke calm and clear. This is me, taking everything I gave, and reminding you who gave it." Silence. The kind that turns a backyard into a courtroom. The kind that tightens throats. "I co-signed your house." I pulled out. "As of this week, the note's called in full. You've got 60 days to pay the remainder or sell." "But," my son stammered, voice cracking, "that'll crush us?" I looked him dead in the eyes. "I know," Ashley stepped in. "You can't do this. Your family." "No," I said. "I was convenience. Until I stopped being convenient." She stepped back like I'd hit her. The kids came out of the house holding half-melted popsicles. Confused. "Grandpa?" one of them asked. I knelt, pulled out a small wrapped box. "Here," I said. "Open this later." "Just for you," he smiled. Ran back inside. Inside the box, a letter. In plain English. "I love you. No matter what your parents say, you will always have someone who sees you. When you're older, come find me." My son tried to follow me as I turned to leave. "You're bitter," he said. "You're punishing us for one mistake." I stopped, turned slowly. "One mistake?" I repeated. "You left me in a home like I was an expired coupon. You took my silence for weakness. You built a life on my back and buried me under it." He was shaking. Ashley looked around, suddenly aware of the neighbors watching. I lowered my voice. "You thought I was old, tired, done. But you forgot who raised you, and I didn't raise a coward. So if you feel like you're being punished, maybe it's because you finally are." I walked away. Didn't slam the gate. Just closed it. Click. Final. 2 days later, he called. 7 times. Left 4 voicemails. I didn't answer. He emailed. Subject: "Please talk." I didn't open it. Ashley texted, "We're losing the house." "You're seriously not going to help?" I replied. "I did. I helped you learn consequence and block the number." That week, I sat on the porch of a rented house in Jackson Hole. Quiet. Snow still on the mountains. Coffee hot. I wasn't angry anymore. Anger is fuel. But peace, that's the real luxury. I'd burned the bridge and warmed my hands on the fire. The new house sat on a hill above a town where people still knew the scent of pine and what real silence felt like. I paid cash. 2-bedroom cabin. Wood-burning stove. Wraparound porch. Old mailbox that finally started filling with something other than bills. I lived simply. Black coffee in the morning. Firewood, tools, and quiet during the day. Books and bourbon at night. No one called, because no one had my number. And for the first time in my life, that was a gift. Then one day a letter arrived. Yellow envelope. Handwritten. Soft curves in the script. "We miss you. Please come for Thanksgiving. The kids made drawings for you. We're not perfect, but we're still family." Signed, Ashley. Inside was a drawing. Crayon-colored. A little boy holding a sign that read, "We love you, Grandpa." I stared at it for a long time. This wasn't a gesture. It was bait, wrapped in nostalgia and kids' tears. And for the first time in a while, I felt something that hurt. Not for me, for the kid. A week later, there was a knock on the door. Not Ashley, not my son. It was Savannah, Ashley's niece. "They said you disappeared," she said. "Maybe," I replied. "Or maybe I just finally showed up." She didn't ask questions. Just set her duffel down. "Can I stay for a bit? It's quiet here." Turns out she'd left. Run from that house. The one full of rules, fake smiles, debt, and Instagram lies. She chose a woodshed and an old man's porch over a pool and a ring light. And I let her in. Because she didn't ask for anything. She just wanted to be. Then came the second letter. I didn't need to open it to know. "Tyler's asthma is getting worse. Medication is expensive. We're not sure who else to ask." I could have verified it. Called the pharmacy. Wired the money straight to the source. But I didn't. Because that letter wasn't about help. It was about leverage. Guilt. Their favorite tool. This time, I didn't let them play me with it. Instead, I went to the garage, opened a new can of paint, and on an old wooden sign I wrote, "You don't have to be fuel for someone else's fire." Planted it by the front steps. No one knocked. No one called. But 3 days later, there it was again. A soft knock. Savannah answered. My granddaughter, 6 years old. In her hand, another drawing. No words, just a sun, a lake, a little house. a figure on the porch holding a fishing rod. I took it quietly and slid it into a drawer. Next to the safe key, my updated will, and a photo of myself when I still knew how to smile. I never went back, but I left the door open for the ones who showed up without lies, without manipulation, without a performance. People who weren't afraid of silence. Funny how silence started holding more love than any family dinner ever did. The next morning I woke up early. Coffee, wind, pines. On the table, the new drawing. On the doorstep, a new life. And inside me, not emptiness, not rage, but something steady, something final. For the first time in 65 years, I chose myself. The coffee was hot and bitter, same brand I'd drunk since '86, black, no sugar. My hands were calloused, the cup warm. Outside, the frost clung to the grass like it didn't know when to let go. The cabin was silent. Savannah had gone into town for groceries. I'd given her the old Ford, told her to keep it until she didn't need it anymore. She said thank you like it cost her pride to accept something without earning it. That's why I trusted her. She never begged, never expected. She just showed up, like pain does. On the table lay the photo album again. I'd taken it out the night before, meaning to look through it and then burn it. But I couldn't bring myself to strike the match. Not yet. I opened it. Page 1, my son's first steps. His mother smiling in a sundress, barefoot in the backyard, holding out her arms. Me, behind the camera. Always behind. Page 3, high school graduation. I'd paid for the suit. He never said thank you. Page 5, Thanksgiving 10 years ago. I'd cooked the turkey, carved it, served it. The caption written by Ashley, family dinner. So grateful for my amazing husband and kids. I wasn't even tagged. I closed the album. Let out a slow breath. That part of my life was over. Not with a bang, with a deletion. Later that day, I walked out to the shed. The axe was still there, head oiled, handle smooth from use. I didn't need it, but I liked knowing it was ready. Like me, I wasn't building fences anymore. I was cutting through them. 2 weeks passed. Then came the email. From a lawyer I didn't recognize. A different one. Younger. Slicker. My client wishes to resolve the matter privately. Attached, a draft settlement. My son, or rather Ashley on his behalf, was offering me a structured repayment for the cosign damage. Too late. I forwarded it to my attorney with one line. No settlement. No forgiveness. Just truth. We filed formal notice. The property line I pulled had matured. The bank moved on the house. It would go into foreclosure by April if they didn't cough up $220,000. They couldn't, because my silence had finally started costing them. One morning, a knock on my door. I opened it expecting delivery. Instead, it was my granddaughter. Not the drawing this time. She stood there, alone. Jacket zipped up to her chin, backpack over one shoulder. Mom and Dad are fighting, she said. I don't want to be there anymore. I didn't speak, just stepped aside. She walked in, took off her shoes, and sat quietly on the couch like she'd done it 100 times before. I made her cocoa, gave her a blanket, didn't ask questions. Because when you're a child and you choose peace over chaos, you've already said everything that matters. That night, she gave me back the drawing. It had faded, but I knew what it meant now. Not come back, but you never left. Ashley called 2 days later. Voicemail. She's with you, isn't she? Pause. Just keep her safe. Please. I was wrong. She hung up. No manipulation. No guilt. Just exhaustion and something close to surrender. I didn't call back. Didn't need to. Some wounds don't need words. Just space to heal. Weeks turned into months. The foreclosure finalized. They moved out in silence. No public tantrum, no social media martyrdom. Just gone. Ashley went back to her parents. My son vanished into some tech job across the country. Neither of them asked for anything again because they finally understood. They'd taken everything, and I was still standing. And now, I had something they couldn't fake. Not money, not land, not victory. I had peace, and I'd earned it one broken piece at a time. Final morning of fall. I stood on the porch with my coffee wrapped in flannel, boots on the cold wood. In the distance, Savannah was teaching my granddaughter how to stack firewood. I watched them quietly, didn't say a word, didn't need to. The trees rustled like applause. Inside, the album sat closed, but not burned. Not yet, because some stories don't need to end in ashes. They just need to be closed and shelved where they belong. I turned, went inside, and whispered to myself, I don't need to be needed anymore. I just need to be me. And for once in 65 years, that was enough.